It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show.
Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 558. Tonight I'm joined by Ace.
Hello.
Ammo.
Hello.
Ashgar.
Charcoal should be at least rare.
Oh,
I don't know. It puts builds online so much quicker.
Ham.
Hello.
And Thalen.
Hey there.
So, a lot of us are back playing Dune, but also I don't fully understand the scope of this statement. Dune's mea culpa patch?
Oh man. So having played Dune previously, like when it quite fairly extensively when it first came out, it had some issues. Just like baseline conceptual issues. Specifically I'm thinking about like, hey, your base could just evaporate and there was nothing really anything you could do about it. And you know, it caused people to be like, okay, well that was fun. I guess I'm done. Like,
You kind of want to minimize the I guess I'm done moments.
yeah, like, oops, I took 2 weeks off and like everything I ever worked for is gone. This is misery. Like I'm done. And like that's not a great place to be. And I think we all kind of hit that.
Yeah.
Like when we were playing it previously, like, oh, I just took a little bit too long off and now I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah, I took a break to play a Path of Exile League start and lost my base and was, not coming back after that.
Yeah. And it's exacerbated by the fact that their end game was sort of a mess. They had this sort of concept of the Landsrad, and it was just half baked.
We have previously discussed Funcom's approach to endgames.
Right. It was very Funcom endgame. So the most recent patch offered a bunch of stuff, but 3 major things. Hey, we completely revamped the endgame. Specifically, they revamped the way the Landsrad works to get rid of taxes entirely. Turns out, taxes aren't fun in video games.
Yeah.
Especially because they're not doing anything. It's just like whoever wins the Landsrad controls the tax rate or something. It was sort of opaque. It just wasn't fun. So they got rid of those entirely. The only thing that you need to worry about for your housing is the only relevant thing for housing is power. Like making sure that you're not losing power, which is enough, honestly. Like keeping your base in power, especially a more developed base, is actually kind of a pain. But like that on top of needing to stay on top of cash money, which is not a given. Like cash money is not just a thing. It's not like, oh, I kill any mob and I get money. Like money is something you have to actually like make a special point to try to get a hold of, and isn't useful for very much.
Money by default kind of just lets you shortcut some of the progression by buying things that you can't easily make yet at the local town. Yeah.
Or like filling out if you don't want to go do another run for like the last one thing you need.
Right.
But it's real inefficient. And like that's fine. It's fine that it's inefficient. It's not like you're spending a ton on money. It's just like, oh, that's could be worse. But yeah, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about taxes. They realized that everybody's favorite parts of the deep desert were the PvE dungeons. So they revamped those so that you can run more of them. They're easier to run and they're much better spread out so that you can just do them. I didn't do any of them, so I don't know all of the details, but like the base takeaway is, oh, we didn't realize people really loved the PvE in the PvE dungeons in the deep desert, and so we did more of them.
I'm shocked. Realizing that PvE is the draw of your game.
Yeah. but like they pivoted super fast on it. Apparently, like you can do a bunch more stuff in the uh, uh, there's a whole lot more to do. There's a whole lot more to do in PvE in the deep desert, and in the same vein, they basically what I didn't know was that the deep desert has like it's not all PvP all the time. There's a PvE area and there's a PvP area.
Yeah, they did that a little ways in when we were originally
It was like
playing. Like the
patch 1 or
bottom
2
half,
or something.
yeah, the
Yeah.
bottom half of the deep desert map was PvE.
And like one of the like minor notes was that like basically you can go to the deep desert and just PvE all the time. You don't even have to go into the PvP places if you want to do stuff, which is like good. Good. You figured that out. That I mean, it took you a little bit longer than it should have, but like they made those changes. But the other thing they did, and this is sort of the big one. Oh, and there's a ton more like random PvE quests out in the world. Like I keep randomly running into them.
Yeah, I keep running into like people fire off flares, and oh, it's a quest giver.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, people will fire off a flare, and the flare is like, hey, I need help.
I'm like, wow, you're real lucky it was me that saw that, and not
Yeah, right?
literally anybody else around.
But the other thing they did was they were like, oh, also, if you've been logged out of the game for 28 days or more, and you log back in, we're giving you a welcome back package as like a because anybody who's got a base, one of the things they added is basically a base store. Like previously they'd had a thing where your base could be
You could
like
copy it, but you needed the resources to rebuild it.
yeah, you could copy the base, but you needed the resources if you wanted to actually rebuild it, which is like, okay, that thing is useless unless you're just sitting on a ton of resources that you're carrying around, or you have a really, really small base.
I mean, basically the purpose of that was to rapidly rebuild your base in the deep desert after a Coriolis storm, because you do have to, rebuild out there each week.
Yeah, which is fine. Like that's the whole point of the space. Like it's not meant to be a permanent thing. It changes all the time. Like that's fine. But
the problem with that is that you also can't carry enough resources on you to actually rebuild your entire base.
Yeah, like that was the thing. And like, I'm guessing the deep desert bases are very, very outposty. Like,
I mean, I've seen some really huge ones. Construction costs are cheaper out there.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, they've like, I think everything costs half as much as it normally would to build, I think is what it is. And also there's just base resource nodes, granite everywhere. Like,
yeah.
It does not take that very long to put a base back up out there.
But yeah, it's like, so the thing they added was the same. It's a thing for bases. What they have for vehicles is a vehicle backup tool that you can just click on a vehicle and it'll store the vehicle in your inventory, basically. And as long as you can legally place it back out in the world, it just stores in your vehicle store. And like the thing that drove me to quit was I liked to have my ornithopter in my hangar on display. So when my base evaporated, so did my ornithopter, and I was like, no, I have this, I'm out. Because making your first ornithopter is a huge investment. Like,
well, and also you can only store scout ornithopters. You cannot store the larger ones.
Yeah,
those you're gonna have to leave out.
yeah. I never had one of the big. I never invested one of the bigger ones.
They're big ones are real cool.
Well, and to be honest, making your first of any of the vehicles is an undertaking.
Yeah, it's true. Like the vehicles, all of the vehicles feel they all feel like a huge investment of resources, and they're all
like a major milestone.
Yeah, they're all super transformative when you get them.
Like when you get your sand bike, it's basically I can drive around during the day now. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. The sand bike is huge. The buggy is huge because the buggy is like, oh, I can harvest immense amounts of resources.
Yeah,
now.
I can go out to where the erythrite crystals are and harvest enough of them that I don't need to come back anytime soon.
Yeah, but yeah. So now you can do that with bases, where like, oh, I think I'm gonna I think I'm going to stop playing for a bit. Like, all right, let me pop this base into a stored thing and I can just pop it back out again later. And honestly, like that's like, okay, if I decide to come back to this, I'm way more likely to decide to come back to this game knowing that I can just.
Well, and it also solves one of the other big problems, which is we play on a private server, and transferring your character to a public server more than likely means that your wherever you had your base previously is not going to be available.
Yeah, also true.
I was shocked at how many resources they gave me in the welcome back pack.
Yes, the welcome back package is the most generous thing I have ever seen.
Well, like I told them honestly where I was in progression, that I was starting on Cobalt, and I've got aluminum bars, I've got everything in there. Like, it's not as much as they put into yours, Tam, but like it's a large amount.
Yeah. They snapshot basically what your highest, like your last 5 researched crafted things were, and they give you a package that's tuned to match where you were in progression. It's really interesting because I got comparatively little copper because I'd mostly progressed past copper. I got a little bit of copper, but not a lot. Whereas I got a huge amount of aluminum and whatever the aluminum upgrade is called.
Duralium or whatever that's called.
Duralumin,
yeah.
And they even gave me some plastanium, which is nuts. That's only deep desert stuff, and I had never gotten plastanium. But it was enough to get my base very comfortably back on its feet. I built several vehicles. I'm able to build a decent chunk of the expensive crafting tables. I wasn't actually able to make all of the crafting tables that I'd had previously, but I can get myself to the point where it's not hard. It's not like a challenge to farm the stuff that I need to get it. And yeah, it was just like, oh, it's really cool that, my base is up and running again. It's at least as nice a base as I had before. It's not as like immense and sprawling as the ridiculous thing I had built previously, but that's just because I haven't put the time. It's certainly not for lack of resources. The hardest part was actually getting it all out because I could only carry so much, and it's like, oh, 6,000 granite. Okay, I need to I had to build 5 more storage containers just to put stuff in. But I had the materials to build storage containers. Great. So it definitely feels welcoming. It's like, hey, we changed the way this game works, and we would like you to come back and take a look. And yeah, if I think that I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna pop out, I'm gonna store my base and log out and not worry about if I come back whether or not it's gonna be around. The other thing that I thought that they did that I thought was really nice was when the thing that I was skeptical about with a private server is if your private server goes down, you are going to lose your character. And I had just resigned myself to my character is gone. But my character was still there. I just transferred it to the new private server setup, and it's working great. That was awesome.
Yeah, I was confused by that because I didn't realize that we were on a different server than we were previously. And as a result, I had to go find the other character. So I just re-rolled from scratch, which is not that big of a deal. I don't know, I'm 26, 27, something like that. And I think I was 34 previously.
Yeah, I was 132 and wasn't thrilled about the prospect of levels are pretty quick, but it's still a lot.
I mean, the hardest thing has been getting back the research, since everything ends up gated on research.
I definitely remember because when you start a new character, they ask you if you want the open tech tree or just to go with the tutorial.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand why you might say, I understand the tech tree well enough to say, okay, yeah, maybe I would just let me open the tech tree as opposed to blocking it. But But I sure didn't do that when I first started. I'm glad I didn't, because there's stuff that I would never have thought about. That the game is like, look, turns out you need this thing. Kind of important. And there's a ton of new content. Like way more than I realized or would have guessed.
The big thing that I noticed is there's just way more resource nodes in the wild.
Yeah.
Because like I remember roaming around the general area that my current base is in, kind of struggling to find enough iron, whereas there's just iron all over the place. Just so much iron, just ridiculous amounts of iron. And the same was true in the south. There was just so much copper. Like you'd find 4 nodes of copper all near each other. And that was just not a thing previously, at least not in the abundance that it is now.
Yeah. One of the things that they turned off in the patch notes was they would turn off certain node spawns based on like rarity. There were concentric circles around a given base that would turn off node spawns based on their rarity due to proximity of that base. And they just got rid of that.
Yeah, because like most of the time you're setting up your base there on purpose because it's got a node. Like,
oh, this is really convenient. Like the place that I set up my base, it's actually reasonably good for nodes, but it's so like conveniently central to everything I've cared about for a long time that I just set myself back up there. But like I don't have to. There's a surprising number of good base locations, which I appreciate.
Yeah, it's definitely been interesting getting back into it and exploring stuff and like relearning things that I learned last time. And
the new story stuff is good. Like I'm just continually surprised at how like good they are at telling a Dune story.
Yeah, I mean the story that was at launch was remarkably good. I was very impressed with it at the time. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where they went from there.
Yeah, like it. I would not have bet that you could tell a Dune story in a video game that is both like close to the source material, but also doing something interesting with it that hasn't really been explored in the books. And like in some cases, it's probably a good thing because Dune books are a little nuts at points. Mm-hmm. But even so, it's like it's cool. It's just like this is doing something neat, and I'm here to see where it goes. I've done a little bit more of the story, but I had reached the point where the story basically asks you to have an ornithopter to get around.
Yeah.
And so that was my project, was getting all of that back online.
I have to clear out a bajillion camps. That's basically where I am. I have been to the shipwreck and now need to go to a bajillion camps.
Do not skimp on better cutter rays.
Yes.
They are so good. Not regret upgrading your cutter ray.
Also, as one of my friends reminded me, learn to parry.
Yes, it's key.
Or remember how to parry is more the truthful statement there.
It's fair. Or just be a Bene Gesserit. It's fine.
I mean, similarly, you can kind of get away with just being a sword master and bum rushing everything.
That's true too. They retuned a bunch of abilities, and I think almost entirely, if not exclusively, for the better.
I can only like play so much at one setting though, because especially if I'm dealing with combat, because I don't know, like I've not reached the point where it feels like I can just brain off.
That's the thing that I'm struggling with a little bit, since I didn't play the first time around and I'm just hopping into it fresh right now, is that I can play it in small doses, but I am not used to the combat yet. It's taken me a while.
Yeah, it does come eventually, but like early game combat can be real rough.
The combat in this game is kind of nasty until you get your first Holtzman shield.
That too.
It's true.
Yeah.
And like I somehow missed some progression because the first shield that I got was an MK2 shield, and I vaguely remember I thought I had an MK1. Was there like a legendary version that came from somewhere? Because I swear I had a shield way earlier than this.
I mean,
You can
might
get
have looted one.
you can get a shield a little bit early if you you can get one from like it's like a boss or something. But otherwise, yeah, you're waiting until Mark II materials.
But yeah, having a shield so that you can, then learn the when do I fire my weapon, because that'll take my shield down, and and get the hang of that.
I've gotten used to the combat, and I have come to really enjoy it now that I'm used to it. But there's definitely a learning curve to it, and it's definitely one of those things that comes on that like once it comes together, like you need gear. You need to hit like a certain tier of gear before it's like, oh, okay, this makes sense. Because yeah, I definitely had like combat was rough, and getting a shield helped, and getting a gun that worked for me really helped.
I'm still using the legendary one that like is a pulse rifle essentially that fires bursts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can reacquire my poisoned assassin sniper rifle at some point, because that thing's amazing.
Good. Fear's best.
Because yeah, that and like one of the high-end pulse swords. Those are my go-tos.
I have a that same sniper rifle, because that sniper rifle is so freaking good. And
yeah, it's nonsense, because even if they do have a shield up, poison penetrates shields. Sorry.
Nice.
It's so good. And then I have a
Wait,
knife.
why?
I don't know. I have a knife that steals blood.
Yeah, the blood drinker is the knife that I'm still using, but like the first one you can get, mostly because I haven't been able to craft a sword that's better.
You don't tend to get more damage from swords than daggers. They just wield differently. I go back and forth on whether or not I like swords more than daggers.
I mean, as a sword master, there are benefits to using an actual sword in the tech tree. So yeah, like
because there are those splits. The Bene Gesserit have stuff for daggers, and Swordmaster has stuff for swords.
Yeah, I'm very much into the Bene Gesserit thing, where I just tell people to put their weapons down and then I stab them, and it works great. The voice is good, yo. Turns out, there's a bunch of stuff. There's a whole bunch of abilities that I know nothing about that got really buffed. But I don't know enough about them to comment, other than evidently, what is it? It's like Trooper, Swordmaster, and Mentat stuff all got, like, low level stuff for all of those all got buffed. And the higher level Bene Gesserit stuff got buffed because it wasn't,
I still feel like enough points into Trooper to get the Shigawara Claw is a requirement.
The Shigawara Claw is so good.
Yeah, I can't not have that.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm going to permanently give up a second ability just so I can keep using the Shigawara Claw, because like it's so handy for bases and stuff, because like you can just come in on the second floor of the base.
Yeah.
And everyone's confused.
Yeah, it's the mobility, especially when you get like, you can get some good the other thing that helps so much is getting a good belt.
Yeah, suspensor belt. Yep.
Yeah, like those things are amazing.
Well, there's that early one you can get called the Emperor's Wings that
thing.
I still haven't upgraded it.
Well, and because most suspensors don't preserve momentum, and most of the time, like I'm doing crazy jump things that I want to preserve my momentum for.
Yeah,
so
like
I hate having to give up the Emperor's Wings.
That plus Shigawara Claw basically feels like flying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You can get, and it's markedly faster than an Ornithopter, actually. I mean, minus like a booster on your Ornithopter or other such things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, their patches, the patch content is really good. They're on their third major update. I'm really digging it. I'm happy to see them continue to make more stuff for this game.
Yeah.
Because I was really worried that this was going to be another one of those, oops, it didn't make $1 bajillion, everyone's fired, and the game shuts down.
For all of the things we say about Funcom all the time, they're pretty good at not doing that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big reason why I keep on picking up. Funcom feels like they're making MMOs in the style of like early 2000s experimental video games, where it's like these are really high concept things, and they're probably a little janky, but there's nothing else like them.
Well, they seem to have figured out how to successfully make a game that can survive on a mediocre success.
Yes.
Speaking of survival games, another one that I have popped into recently again is Enshrouded, and mostly because since Destiny Rising has kind of been faltering, Ace and I were looking at something from our repertoire of games to play that doesn't require as much concentration as Dune.
Just wanted something relatively chill.
And one is fun, and two, I have a fairly high progressed character that was easy for me to get back into. But also, I think, Ace, you've talked about this on the show, and I didn't fully understand the scope, but we did something called a Hollowed Hall the other night, and it was wild.
Yeah, I know I've talked about it before, and I think maybe what I didn't do well is just convey the scope, like the scale of the these little dungeons. They're enormous. Not just like, oh, there's a lot of halls and things to turn around and go through, but they're giant cavernous spaces full of puzzles and enemies and traps. We had a good time.
Like, it took us about 2 hours to go through one of them, and that was pretty much moving quickly the entire time. Like, it and everything was kind of like multi-tiered in that, we would clear a floor in theory, and then that would unlock another floor with a whole bunch of new stuff on it, and it was pretty wild. Like, I was really impressed with it.
We definitely didn't find everything that was in there either, because the little dude in my base sent me back and was like, "You need to find this junk that's hidden." So there's still more to do. But yeah, those things are just really fun. They're also like they feel like they are built for more than one person. I had my server settings set to just completely easy mode because I just am playing to be chill, and we just got absolutely swarmed by enemies a few times where if it had been on normal settings it would have been a rough fight even for the two of us.
Yeah, no, we would have gotten wrecked, especially like the spawners and stuff. Like, clearing those rooms would have been extremely rough. But also, like, all the little mini bosses combined with environmental traps and stuff were really fun. It took a lot to get through it. But also, like, I'm just having fun roaming the world. Because I had farmed up some pretty overpowered gear last time I played, and it's stupidly fun just gliding all over the place.
It's one of the best parts of the game.
Especially now that I've gotten used to controlling the gliding again. Because that was definitely a thing that I had to get used to.
One thing that's been added relatively recently, since the last time that I played anyway, is water. And I haven't actually gotten to the new area yet where there's supposedly water, but there's fishing. And also, you can add water features to your base. And so I have spent more time than I care to admit making little rivers and ponds and things in my base, and then watching things get flooded and have to scramble to try to fix it. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm still continuing my most recent idiotic project of trying to tunnel down to the Shroud.
This playthrough, I am trying to strike a balance. I'm not investing in my base all that much, which I know, Belle, you've given me shit for, but it's functional. But I'm trying to move through the world, unlock stuff so that I can see some of the new things that have been added. And at this point in my new playthrough, I am just starting to make my way around the peak area. So getting relatively close to where I was the last time that I stopped, which is nice.
Mentally, I went to Belle being like, damn, you live like this?
I mean, kind of.
Basically, why is everything a door? Why don't you have walls? Because I don't want to have to open a door to get into my base. I want to be able to hop in there from anywhere.
Like, I know I've shared this anecdote before on the show, but it reminded me of like a friend of mine that I used to work with talked about his like very young child not really understanding how to play Sims and just wanting to get babies and then getting super mad that the in-game version of DHS would come take the babies away. So they built the house with no doors, and then like to keep everybody happy, they put a toilet in every single room, like hyper optimized for what the objective that they wanted was. And like Ace's house is just hyper optimized for the gameplay that they wanted to do.
Look, the important thing is that my cat's bed is right next to my bed.
It's true.
Priorities.
I can't say anything because like right now I have this torture chamber of like the hall of beds that all my NPCs are in because I haven't figured out what I want to do with the base quite yet. So
yeah, I definitely have multiple stories of barracks. Just everybody lives over here and I will deal with you later. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. They all say how happy they are that they're not dead.
Yeah, what more do they want?
they want me to run quests for them constantly. Hi. Hey.
I want an NPC in my base in Dune to move all this lubricant.
Yeah. They have they decreased the weight of cobalt paste yet? Did they ever do that?
The what?
The weight of cobalt paste?
Fuck no.
God damn it.
No, that little cup is like 30 pounds for some reason.
It's nonsense. Like every time I would fly out to the deep desert to reestablish my base, it would be one trip to carry all of the other stuff to build the base and one trip to bring the cobalt paste.
Yeah. No, it costs it's ridiculously heavy for some reason.
I mean, have you tried to make paste out of cobalt?
Yeah, I mean, there's that too. Like, I don't know enough about cobalt to know if you can turn it into a paste. That seems like not what I understood about cobalt, but I'm not going to ask too many questions.
I also have no idea why the shield doors require cobalt paste.
Everything good requires cobalt paste.
Yeah, anything electronic needs it for
What
reasons.
what do NPCs in Enshrouded do? I thought I understood this game, and I think I'm realizing that I don't.
They unlock various crafting things, and you have to go save them from the world because they are long dead, and you have to resurrect them and bring them back to your base, and then they will make you go out on missions mostly.
Yeah, there's a series of them that have been helpfully stored away to survive the cataclysm, and you go rescue them, and they're the ones that will send you off on quests. And actually, well, they'll send you off to get the stuff they need to do their craft. So you've got your blacksmith and a farmer and carpenter. There's also just regular people. Those people definitely died, and you will go out and find their bones.
Oh no.
And you find their souls and their bones, and then you bring them back. Occasionally they also have quests, but mostly it's Oh, I dropped my box of hats. If you go find it, you can have some fancy hats.
Oh, thanks.
I have so many hats.
Everybody wants fancy hats.
I went and got the bard the other night, and that is an ordeal. It was by far the most complicated area I've been in the game.
Oh, you went to the swamp?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely a later patch that got added in. And it is complicated. It's more like some of the other later areas. I like it. I wish it wasn't just sort of a side grade area from sort of the second zone, but it's fun. I like the lizards, the mud lizards, gigantic mud lizards.
Yeah, they're pretty great. I just hate getting into the mud to fight them and have to keep baiting them out of the mud because the mud will straight up murder you very quickly if you are not constantly jumping. It will quickly become Artax in the Swamp of Sorrows.
Seems like it would make fighting giant lizards difficult.
There's usually some place to stand, and once you kill a lizard, you can stand on its dead body.
Well, there you go.
And then you can shoot its friends from there. It's all fine.
Convenient murder.
But yeah, there's a ton of new stuff, and the game continues to be pretty great. So if folks have tried it a long time ago and haven't ducked back in, it's not a bad time to try it out again.
It's also legitimately some of the best money I've spent on a game. They pretty consistently keep adding new content.
I should check it out. It's been a while since I've played it.
On run shaping.
So it's not a secret that I've been playing a decent chunk of Shape of Dreams.
A lot of Shape of Dreams.
I haven't been playing as much as these two, but I've been playing a decent chunk.
But it really has me thinking about randomness in roguelikes.
Mm-hmm.
This one is definitely pretty heavy on the roguelite. There is a lot of permanent progression, but it is also definitely throwing you into a lot of randomness when you play it.
Especially when you start, but yeah.
Like, I think I mentioned when we talked about it like 2 weeks ago or whatever, that there were not a lot of ways to influence what you get. And that's a lie. They just don't give them to you at the start. Some of the ability upgrades you can get, each character has like a tree that you can purchase upgrades to get in, some of which are shared between characters, some of which are character specific. And some of these upgrades let you influence what sort of things. Well, that's actually not even true. Most of these things don't give you any influence over what you're going to see, but they let you see many more things. Like an upgrade that lets the first 3 items in a world you deconstruct to instead turn into a different item of the same rarity. Some items to let you reroll the shop, and other things that control the randomness somewhat. In addition, there's a system called Deja Vu that opens up once you play the game enough that lets you spend your meta currency, Stardust, to get one item from a run you've previously beaten to take into a new run. This is cheaper the more times you've beaten the game with it, but more expensive based on how rare the thing is in the first place. My opening joke about charcoal should be a rare is absolutely true. It's a very strong ability upgrade that causes it on hit to just generate more hits of magic damage.
But also notably pairs extremely well with a chipped essence of sulfur, which causes a memory to deal fire damage.
And fire damage hits can deal damage over time based on the damage of the hit. It is based on the damage of the hit, so large fire damage hits are better than small ones, but lots of small ones give you lots of stacks of fire, and some things work better with that as well.
There's also eventually the ability for you to start disabling certain abilities from showing up in your run, which means that if you want to really tune what your character is going to do, you can get rid of the stuff you don't want to see.
All this is a very sharp contrast to your abilities to do things in the run, like a shrine of upgrade this in rarity to a random thing of the next rarity, and do that to all of your items and give them bonus levels in quality. Surely you won't have any remorse over this decision at all.
Like, but when you do that, that's a lot of resource you're kind of getting there for free. There's definitely a lot of pressure luck. Like, normally it costs a significant amount of dream dust to upgrade your abilities, but there's always the Maw of Doom that you might see. And the Maw of Doom gives you gives you an upgrade for free, and then you can keep upgrading them, and maybe they won't get instantly destroyed.
Having had something destroyed on the 8% a second hit, I never do that anymore.
This game is really good at like the shape of dreams is funny. Like each run is a dream, and there is definitely a shape that I am seeing in my dreams. Like I am like looking for certain things, and I'm starting to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm going for this build. This is the particular thing I need to make this come online. And the other thing I was noticing is there is a lot going on in this game. Like there is a lot of alternative objectives that you need to do in specific runs to unlock new stuff. And like this very much in some ways reminds me of doing a Blueprints run, where when I was beginning to play this game, I was like, that's nonsense. There's no way I'll ever have enough control over the randomness that this game is presenting me with that I'll be able to pull that off. But then, like, as you unlock new systems and new abilities, like, you start to figure out how to use them to your advantage. And then, like, this is going to be the run I go for X.
Yeah. I'm always back and forth on roguelikes. The point at which I tend to check out of a roguelike is the point at which the game has afforded me enough control that I can just sculpt a run the way I want. Because now, like, the surprise is gone, so I'm just like, all right, well, I guess I can win whenever I want. And it really depends, like, once I can do that, it really depends on, are they good at convincing me to try new stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And, like, unfortunately, a lot of roguelikes aren't at that level. Like, at that point in the game, it's not actually, they tend to be very do a fairly poor job of encouraging me to try something new, because I'm like, but it's not better than what I could already do, so why? And so I tend to really love the, like, stuff's gonna happen, can you win regardless of what it throws at you stage, like, a lot. And we'll see. I have had more successful runs earlier on, I think, but I haven't because I haven't unlocked a bunch of the stuff, like a bunch of the, like, core mechanics yet. Like, oh, you need to be level whatever for this, and I'm like, oh, I'm not that.
Weirdly, I think the ability to take a single essence, a single upgrade into a run is stronger than the ability to take a single ability into a run most of the time, because your build is going to have 12 upgrades, but only 4 abilities.
Yeah.
That said, I'm definitely going to put in my opinion of, I think I want flash freeze on Nausea, just always.
Nah. I had a run with Nausea earlier today that was entirely based on attack speed, ability power, and making my summons trigger attack effects.
Oh, interesting. What attack effects are there? Like, what is an attack effect?
Anything that says when you attack X is an attack effect.
Okay.
Unless it says basic attack. So, I mean, my favorite example is Aerostorm. Aerostorm is just good. Aerostorm is an attack effect. Umbral Rage, I want to say, is an attack effect. Some essences can give you attack effects. It is some characters' passives are attack effects, most notably Mist. Mist ability power on hit is an attack effect. So I have enjoyed a lot of related builds there. But in sharp contrast to this, I've also been playing a decent chunk of Rabbit and Steel, which gives you no ability whatsoever to affect your run before you go on it. And in fact, runs only get more random as you play more, as you unlock more item sets.
This is true. So I feel like this game definitely is more focused on asking you, the numbers behind your character are going to be extremely important for your survival, because the final boss is just, it's like he moves too fast. he does too many attacks. Like, if you get grazed by too much, you're just gonna die. Like, this game has more chaos and expects you to take damage. Whereas Ravenous Steel is like entirely, we want to make sure you have all of the information you theoretically need to never get hit.
Theoretically.
Sure, that's a big theory. And granted, this becomes less true on hard mode where suddenly there is a DPS counter. But like on normal mode, it's less important that your build comes online and more important that like you're able to dodge the enemy's attacks. I also think this is why I find like right now I'm getting to the point where some of my characters are powerful enough that the like normal mode is too easy, so I'm starting to try like the harder difficulties. I just did my first nightmare run and it did not go great. Didn't even get to the pure white dream to die to Primus. It turns out that hunters are way scarier than I had been giving them credit for.
Hunters are rough. They are intended to be a deterrent to taking your time.
Yeah, that is a reasonable statement. They don't feel like a deterrent as much in deep sleep mode at this point.
They don't feel like a deterrent at Hunter level 1.
I've gotten to Hunter level 5. They don't feel like a deterrent.
Fair.
My new favorite thing though is pots of greed, and I get them every time I can. Less so because of the pot of gold that I get, and more so because at some point I'm going to get a double ominous fight. Because yes, I want 2 stat increases. Definitely.
I think it's just interesting to see which games give you tools to handle all the randomness and which just go, nah, it'll be fine. And Shape of Dreams is definitely a mix of both. It wants to encourage you to pull the lever sometimes. A lot of the times, really.
I mean, it's definitely a game where you want to be maybe putting yourself out there and trying something a little bit more challenging. Because the reward is often worth the risk.
Yeah.
What's Towerbolt?
Towerbolt is a game that I demoed at Geek GirlCon, and it just came out this week. It is a side-scrolling platformer, as long as you're in the form of Deepwell, where up and down are a side, right? You're climbing up a tower. You have you can move left and right, and you can jump, and then you can jump a second time. When you land on the ground or touch a wall, both of your jumps refresh. And then eventually you get a thing where for as long as you jump, you build up meter, and the meter doesn't go away until you land on the ground. And as you build more meter, your jumps get stronger. So you are racing a beam of laser that is basically putting a clock on you as you try and go up through a series of upward platforming puzzles. And it's all about speed and precision, and none of the hazards like in a level will kill you. All they do is speed up the laser and mean that you have less time. So like if you think going through one of the hazard fields will buy you enough time that it's worth the amount the laser speeds up, that might be something you just do. This is a very me game. I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm going to probably do some attempts on speedrunning. Probably one of the most interesting things about this is the game that really taught me I should probably stick to playing games with a controller. Yeah, I got a mix box from Ash for my birthday, and I attempted to use that, and over the course of like 3 play sessions that added up to just under 3 hours, I managed to really mess up my wrist. Yeah, it turns out that all of my fear, like I work on a keyboard for a living, and so all of those fears of carpal tunnel really came to a head very quickly after like I had been playing for like an hour and a half, and I like stood up and realized my wrist was in incredible amounts of pain.
I fully understand this, having had similar experiences at times.
I mentioned a lot of fighting game players switch from controller to something like this for reasons like that.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to hear.
I mean, I think I've talked about it on the show, but like, despite enjoying isometric action RPGs, I could not play them until they started support for a while, until they started supporting controller, because the clicking just can't.
But yeah, this is also a game that has once again reignited my appreciation for the mechanics of a controller, and I'm discovering that the very nice controller I use to play most games might have a slight input interruption on the A button, which is a problem because the amount of time, like, you jump and you continue jumping until you release your A button. So if there's any interruption in the like press of the A button, you get a small jump, and there's a lot of like mandatory full jumps in this game, which once again got me thinking about the mechanics of like how most platformers handle this type of thing. And I'm wondering if there's like some like amount of tolerance for like interrupted A presses, but you wouldn't want too much because you still want your game to be responsive. Or if I just need to get a new controller.
It might be that.
I mean, I had to buy a new controller just, a couple of days ago because I started getting the stick drift. No controller lasts forever.
No controller lasts forever. I have
especially the way we use them.
Yeah, it's funny. I put this one through its paces, but like even still, I know I put my Pokken controller through way more, and it's still probably in better shape than this one at this point.
Maybe we'll get a Pokken sequel, so we'll make that controller again.
Maybe. I can only hope. In the meantime, I will just continue to hoard, like, anywhere I can find people selling that Pokken controller. I should start stockpiling.
That's me and the Logitech G600 mouse that's no longer made and hasn't been made for a while.
Oh, man.
Right?
I miss that mouse so much.
I have one more of those.
So apparently they are being made currently in Japan. And you can import one from Japan, but you're going to pay a lot for it. So
can you though?
Yeah, like I mean it'll
Probably,
be like an $80 mouse at that point, but the Logitech Logicool imprint still makes it for Final Fantasy 14 probably.
All right. Probably. Yeah, no, that tracks.
Okay. I'll put this on my list of things to look for if and when I ever manage to make it back there.
You'll smuggle in a bunch of G600 controllers.
Smuggle hell, I'll just go to Big Camera and buy whatever they got.
Star Trek Online buildcraft.
So it took me a long time to understand how to use in Star Trek Online. And I'm actually mad about it because I think that if you get to the point of buildcraft in that game, it's really cool. It's doing a thing that I very rarely see, and I don't know. It's just I've been having a ton of fun with it. One of the things that's always this like interesting challenge games, right, is especially like games with buildcraft is okay. I've made my build, and why do I care about anything else? Because my build works. Like you've got a working build, your build is online. I can stop caring about all of the other parts of the game because I have a functioning build. And all that I'm doing now is optimizing that build. The only stuff I care about is what gets me optimizations for that build. It's a kind of big problem with buildcraft games because it's like, okay, well, it's the reason why or one of the reasons why Magic is like, oh, there's only some amount of cards that are available. So what Star Trek and with Star Trek Online, it's like, okay, so you got a ship, you made your ship great, you put all the right gear on it. What's left? They do a really interesting thing where your build consists of a whole bunch of different layers, and the amount that you can engage with those layers sort of changes as you level up and work your way more into the buildcraft section, but it's like your ship is a chassis, and then you can customize. There's two ways where you can get the abilities that you can use. They're either consoles on the ship, which are equipment pieces, or they're things that your bridge officers can do. So you have a bunch of, calling them NPCs is a little bit too generous. They're like NPC light, but they're like the rest of your bridge crew. And when some of them you take on ground missions with you, and some of them help you fly the ship. And the ones helping you fly the ship contribute abilities to your overall ability set. So, like, this combination of equipment on your starship and bridge officers are giving you your abilities, and then all of your passive stuff comes from your personal traits as a captain and starship traits. And starship traits you get from mostly leveling up starships. If you level up starships to a certain point, it will unlock the ability to use that starship's unique trait on other ships, which is like a mechanic I've seen elsewhere. But the way it all comes together is like, the more you're trying to optimize, the more steps you're going through to get to like that little extra bit of optimization. Because there's other little bits, like you have duty officers, which is the like basically your lower decks crew that are also doing things on your ship, and they also contribute abilities, some of which can be pretty significant. Like in my doing awful things with science ship, one of my lower deckers has the ability to sometimes cause a second gravity well whenever I use a gravity well, which is great because gravity well is a really powerful control skill, and getting a second one extends the life of my control, which is awesome. Like, that's what my ship is all about. And that really offers this neat, just a bunch of neat options. And it also means that when I'm looking at what do I want to do for a build, it means that I can look at a ship and say, okay, I understand what this ship is good for and why I would want to use it, as opposed to just like, I don't know, it looks cool. Because they're going to have different console setups and different bridge seating. The different bridge seating means that you can use, it's like your bridge officers all have a suite of abilities, but the seat that they sit in limits how many of those abilities they can use. So all of these pieces come together to say, okay, like, I want a slightly better bridge officer. I'm going to go do these things. I want some more good lower deckers. I'm going to go do these things. I want a better starship trait. I want to level up this ship. To get this ship, I need to go. Do these various missions, or whatever it is you require. But it's such a neat. There's so many neat options that are making me care about things. Even though I know what my build is and I know what I'm working towards, I actually care about doing other things that aren't necessarily playing with just that build. Like, oh, I'm going to level up a destroyer because that destroyer has a trait that's really useful for my science vessel. And I just sort of put together my own tank, which I'm really enjoying because it's a totally different play style. And the only reason I'm doing it is because I had to level up a particular ship. I was like, oh, this ship would be really cool if I built for it. What does that look like? Kind of took me down this other rabbit hole of, ooh, I want to try that. And in the process of building out this ship, I found another ship that I'm like, I don't know what a pilot fighter or a pilot interceptor ship looks like. How do you even build that? That's a totally different, I'm used to my science vessel, which is not, it's basically a giant, slow, maneuverable, like not very maneuverable boat that the guns are mostly, like my loadout is mostly decorative, because what I'm actually doing is doing science to my enemies in mostly catastrophic ways. For anybody who has seen the old Star Trek movies, one of the consoles on my computer is the Genesis Seed console, to give you an idea of the kinds of terrible
War
things
crimes.
Yeah,
I'm doing terrible things to people.
I wasn't here last time you talked about it, and as I was listening to it, I was yelling, "I'm pretty sure that's a war crime," as soon as Thalen said those words.
Yeah, no, the things I am doing are not okay on the science ship. there's several treaties are being violated. Whereas like the tank ship is just there's just a zillion phasers on this thing, and it's got a ridiculous amount of hull regen. That's fine. That's totally. But the on the other side of things, there's the pilot escort, which is a turbo fast, really maneuverable ship that was like actually hard for me to use because it turns so tightly and is so quick. And it has basically all of its guns on the front. And so instead of doing the thing where my big phaser dreadnought has 270-degree arc phasers, this is like, no, you get a 45-degree front arc, but you get a ton of damage for anything on the front arc. But this ship is like zippy and maneuverable enough that I can build for it. And it's just like the experience of trying this completely new thing I wouldn't have done if I didn't want its its trait. So it's like, all right, well, I've got this trait, but that was a fun ship to fly. Let me try that. I wish that it was better at introducing those mechanics, because it's I've played this game. I've been in and out of this game for like a decade now, and I'm only just realizing that this is how the whole thing works. So it's not messaged super well, but I love the experience now that I understand it. It's also just they realize that nobody actually wants to do like end game raid stuff, so there's a lot of really casual play. They get the voice actors. They're dedicated to getting all of the voice actors from the shows and movies to like reprise their roles, which I think is very funny. It means that you get a lot of interesting side character, because I think that's who they can afford. They blew all of their early voice acting budget on getting Leonard Nimoy to do his last VO sessions of anything.
Well, I know they've done a lot of like following up on like leftover plot threads from shows.
Yeah, it's got a very, I don't necessarily love all of it, because there's definitely some where it's like, we needed to write a story here. I'm like, I think that there's nothing that I would say is like not Star Trek, because that breadth of Star Trek is very, very, very wide. But I do think they're doing some interesting things. I also think it's funny that they are now one of the like canon ship designers, because they've now hired everybody who did Star Trek ship design that's still working, and like the shows now use Star Trek Online ship designs, because they've got the models and the right people making them. But like that part's fun, and you can spend time with places that you wouldn't have don't really get to see a lot of, like Klingons and Romulans, and play all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I've appreciated that they're like, this is a game that knows what it's about. It's the build stuff is just neat. Like, I'm so used to my build being, especially in an MMO, like my build is so heavily defined by, I chose this class and therefore that's what I can do. And it's neat seeing like, different expressions of that.
I guess a couple rapid fire things. We got a trailer for season 4 of Last Epoch, and it's called Shattered Omens, and apparently we're getting Breach or some equivalent kill things in a circle ability.
Kill things in a circle.
We also got a name for the upcoming Path of Exile League, and it's called Mirage, and we know next to nothing about it yet. So there's not really been any tangible like information drops. So who knows? Any other short topics?
What do we know what they mean by breach? Like,
we've seen images of it. It's kill things in a circle.
Kill things in a circle.
We don't they didn't say breach. Players.
Yeah, it's just kill things in a circle.
Kill things in a circle is kind of boring. But like, I don't know. I kind of hope they have something a little bit more interesting than that, because like the rewards mechanics are really what sold me with like what is it? The Nemesis. I really love Nemesis, because I think the way that they're like providing rewards is interesting, and the way you're like determining if the rewards you want are something you want to invest in or not.
The probably the most interesting thing, other than the new uniques that was in that trailer, was that there's going to be some sort of thing called like Shattered Echoes on your monolith, that are like a sequence of maps similar to, I forget what they were originally called, in Path of Exile, where like
Atlas Memories.
Atlas Memories, yeah. And now they're called something
yeah.
else, but it looks like something like that. And one of them was unique. One of the monolith echo things was a unique echo. So it'll be interesting. But it looks like that creates a whole branch for you to then explore. Also, you can now corrupt items, and it will be just as unpredictable as Valak items in Path of Exile. So probably the big thing though is that rogues are getting 2 new base skills.
Useful because they were missing 2 previously.
Yeah. And they basically took an alternate path off of one of them and turned it into its own skill as kind of a blade vortex sort of ability.
More melee rogue stuff. That's good.
Melee rogue needed a bit more, I thought.
Apparently a bunch of so every Friday they do a dev chat on Twitch, and they showed off a bunch of uniques that they reworked or buffed considerably. So like that was good. Apparently there's a whole bunch of uniques that they've readjusted to make better. Any other quick topics?
New Bluey games coming.
Is it?
And it looks like it might be decent.
Like,
well, that's good.
I mean, it's made by an Australian developer in Adelaide, who you may know if you liked Fruit Ninja.
If we liked what?
Fruit Ninja.
Oh, Fruit Ninja. Yeah.
And
Which, like, honestly, seems fine. Seems like a good start.
And it claims to have a new story written by Joe Brum. So
I'm here for it.
It looks like it's based on the art episode, basically, when where they're all.
Oh yeah. The one I cried at the end of.
It's yeah.
I just had to pause because isn't Adelaide also where Team Cherry is?
I'm pretty sure Adelaide is like one of the dev hubs in Australia.
Yes, Team Cherry, small indie game in Adelaide.
Although I got this wrong, Ludo Studio, the makers of Bluey, are actually Brisbane, which is different.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I thought it was like, are they? I thought they were next door. No, they're not.
No. Ludo Studios is in Brisbane.
Either way, it seems like it's probably a little bit less phoned in, and I'm very excited about this.
Well, that's good.
The last Bluey game was a little bit.
If you like ebooks and you've somehow never read Discworld, you can currently get basically all of Discworld for under $20 in Humble Bundle. This is an extremely good deal.
You can pay them $1 if you really want to, but maybe pay them a little more.
Oh, wild.
Like, this is like 40 books, and they're all good books.
Well, that is probably a show then. Hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you.